this afternoon, the Supreme Court is going to hear arguments on a case out of Oregon, out of Grants Pass, Oregon, which is a little town down near the California border. In fact, my brother-in-law and mother-in-law used to live there. And it's a nice little town, except that they really don't like homeless people. It's like this from the Oregonian, our statewide newspaper, quote, this is about the city council, the Grants Pass City Council. They discussed putting homeless people in their old jail, creating an unwanted list, posting signs at the city border, or driving people out of town. Currently, officers patrol the city nearly every day, handing out $295 citations to people who are camping or sleeping on public property, or for having too many belongings with them. The bottom line is here that this explosion in homelessness is creating two parallel crises in America. One is obviously the crisis of homelessness itself. And what's amazing is there's an estimated 600,000 homeless people in the United States. There are an estimated 24 million empty homes in America. And, but the big deal here in the United States, that's a problem that we need to do something about. I mean, that's about 5 million homes. But the bigger problem now is that what we have is these giant New York hedge funds and investment funds that are buying up property like there's no tomorrow. I mean, this is just in the one little suburb of Spring Hill, it's a suburb of Nashville. It's called Spring Hill. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. In all of Spring Hill, 4 firms own nearly 700 houses. On the first Tuesday of each month, writes the Wall Street Journal, this is in Atlanta, quote, investors toted duffels stuffed with millions of dollars in cashier's checks made out in various denominations so they wouldn't have to interrupt their buying spree with trips to the bank. Seriously, they're just stripping neighborhoods of families, of single-family homes, and then raising the rent. In Spring Hill, the Wall Street Journal documented how in just a couple of years, after these big New York firms bought up all this housing stock in Spring Hill, the average rent went from $1,000 a month for a 3-bedroom house to $1,770 a month. And I mean, this is just normal, I guess. Ryan December, in his book Underwater, How Our American Dream of Home Ownership Became a Nightmare, writes about this family trying to buy a home in Phoenix. Jacobs was bewildered, writes December. Who was this aggressive bidder? Every time they made a bid, somebody outbid them. And then it turns out it was the Blackstone Group, now the world's largest real estate investor. At the time, they were buying $150 million worth of American houses every week, trying to spend over $10 billion. And that's just a drop in the bucket. In 2018, 1 out of every 10 homes sold in America was sold to a corporation. And a quote, between 2006 and 2016, when the home ownership rate fell to its lowest level in 50 years, the number of renters grew by about 1/4. And this all exploded when Morgan Stanley, in the wake of the Trump housing crash, the 2008 housing crash, in 2011 published a white paper saying that the hot new investment was residential housing. And suddenly everybody got into it. There's ETFs for this. I mean, it's a thing now. And, the consequence of this is that as a result, people can't afford houses.